Frosty. My name is Will, and welcome to another review here on the channel. Wait a minute, you're not Jessup.
Oh, I don't know about that. I could do his voice if you wanted me to.
Okay, so for those who were with us last week for our Godfather review, no, this is not Jessup, and this is still Godfather month. However, while Jessup is taking a well-deserved vacation, and Jessup, if you're watching this, we love you, man. We are going to review.
We do, Jess, we do.
I, I am joined by our friend Patrick to review Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Now, this has quite a select cast and crew on here. You have Robert Zemeckis directing, you have Kathleen Kennedy and Steven Spielberg producing, you have Alan Silvestri making the music, you have Bob Hoskins and Christopher Lloyd in this movie, as well as a couple other big names. And this tells the story of a cartoon rabbit named Roger, who is being framed for murder, who has to get the help of a detective played by Bob Hoskins, who resents Toons. So, I think one thing we should make clear is that this movie is clearly made more for adults.
Even though the rating is PG, when PG actually had some meaning back then.
No, I'm convinced if this movie was released today, it would be PG-13.
Definitely PG-13.
But I would say this movie is very inventive, and for that, I really praise this movie. I think I like it more than Patrick did. Um, so let's talk about the fact that this is one of the first movies, if not the first movie, to combine animation and live action.
It was pretty. It was an immense style. It's which led to lots of other movies trying to copy that type of charm, and it's not really measuring up. We have, well, for to emphasize how immense this was, the star of the movie, he spent most of his time by himself doing these with when he's in a scene with a cartoon. With a tune, he's usually by himself in a green room. And he admitted in an interview later on that he kind of he had a hard time recovering from that mentally. So he had to imagine them there, that the people were there. He had to. It was, and he managed to make the performance very convincing. He did a spectacular job, but though sometimes it's not worth dying for your art.
No, definitely not. And also, let's talk about the. I agree. And I like how they were able to bring in different characters from different properties. Like they brought in Daffy Duck, Donald Duck, Mickey Mouse, Bugs Bunny, Yosemite Sam, Betty Boop, a lot of famous copyrighted characters. And you also had Woody Woodpecker, Goofy, you name it, they were in here.
Well, those who were made up to the 40s, they did their research on this.
Yes, and if you look in the back, you can see some other famous cartoon characters, especially when we get into Toontown. So how about we talk about the story real quick? I think for a movie that would be PG-13 today, I think it's simple but very effective.
Yeah, I do like they kept it simple. They tried not to put too much in. They were, compared to a recent movie that was made recently, they weren't trying to put in as many things. They weren't trying to put in as many memes as they could. They were just trying to tell the story. They were just using what they were just trying to tell the story with and use the humor creatively.
No, and this movie doesn't hold back and trying to give us some slapstick comedy, which is what a lot of cartoons back in the day were known for. Sometimes they were effective, other times not so much.
Um, well, let's talk about the humor itself. Like,
Okay.
they based the style of the humor back in the 40s.
Yes.
Was probably why it worked so well. They were actually trying to match the cartoons. They were trying to match the style of humor they were using with the cartoons that were imagined back then. They were using I I guess that's how they made it work, and it allowed for not only CGI effects, it also allowed for some pretty impressive physical effects too.
No, because there were quite a few practical effects in this movie combined with CG, which, let's be honest, you don't really see much of nowadays.
Yeah, they're just trying to use too much CGI. It just takes away from the fun. It makes it feel bland.
Yeah, and as much as I like CG, sometimes it could be a little bit much, you know?
Yeah. I mean, sometimes they can make it work. And one great example of mixing physical with CGI is Christopher Lloyd's performance as the judge.
Yes.
You get he manages to make it his own character, and he's able to show that cartooniness before the twist comes to in the climax. And when the climax comes, he's still able to give off a frightening and spectacular performance. He is able to match his co-star very well, and I'm disappointed that neither of them got nominated for Oscars.
No, I don't. Hold on, we're gonna look because this movie I think got won an award, but I
No,
don't.
no, not us. Not I'm saying the actors didn't get
Oh
nominated for
no,
Academy Awards. They this film did win an Academy Award for visual effects, which was very well deserved, by the way.
easily. This was before like some of today's special effects that were given, like special effects in Avatar or Blade Runner, or even some other movies that you see are that were released today. Um, yeah, overall, I think this is a really well done movie. I highly recommend this movie if you haven't seen it, at least for me personally. Um, n- I won't go and say that. Honestly, I don't know if I would go out and say this is like a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, perfect in every single way. Perhaps I might.
It's still very groundbreaking,
It's
and this is actually ironically a lot different from the book it was adapted from, which was more of a dark, gritty crime noir with cartoons. It was a lot. I didn't read about it. I didn't read the book, but I have heard about it and how grim some of the characters come off as.
mhm.
Jessica Rabbit wasn't as pure and good as she was in the movie, but I guess that makes for the surprise where she really is a good guy in the movie much more fun. You get to see the genuine love she shares for this foolish rabbit.
Couldn't have said it better myself, honestly. So we really liked this movie, and if you haven't seen it already, do yourself a favor and go watch it. It's worth the view. So next week, Jessica's still going to be away, and Patrick will be back, and we'll be reviewing Bound, which is a movie that was requested by Jessup himself. And I'm looking forward to seeing what our reactions will be like for this movie. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe for more content. Patrick, do you have anything else you wanted to say?
Other than I'm Patrick Blake and he's Will Rondlich.
Bromwick.
Bless you.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.